Global X interviews social entrepreneurs who tackle some of the world's biggest problems. They are pioneers of innovation that benefit humanity.
My name is Benjamin Ogunyo Andama. I come from Kenya, East Africa. I work with street children, and I began this 6-7 years ago in the street children home where I was stationed. I learned a number of street children were there and they were all seated waiting for meals. So I decided to begin an informal education program within the institution, and as I went on, I learned that these children needed the real formal education. So I really went further and registered the school with the Ministry of Education. It happened the very year when it was registered, the school became second in the whole region. One thing I learned, there are so many reasons why children come to the streets. One of it being poverty, the disease, and hunger. So I said, instead of just waiting for them to come on the streets, and which is very hard because more of like firefighting, I decided to go back and like preventing the problem. At the same time, I was like trying to make sure they have a business that could really empower them so that they become sustainable, as opposed to just being there waiting to be provided with handouts. Now, there's this woman, I worked with her 3-4 years ago. She's among the pioneers that have benefited from my program. Her name is called Dorcas. Dorcas had 4 children, and she was HIV positive. Her children were on the streets. She really never knew what to do, and she was really like lost. I remember when I visited her for the first time, she took me into her house. The house was like a single room, it's a very tiny room. She was sleeping in that room with her children, and there was nothing to sit on. If anything, she welcomed me to sit on the stones that she had really improvised as seats in her house. And the process of working with her, it was difficult because one, she was really like she had lost hope. She told me she's lost hope and she's like she's finished because she's going to die out of the HIV and AIDS, and she's poor, and she looks at her children because the children are also going to the streets because there was no food in the house. And if anything, even the house she was staying in, she was almost being pushed out because she couldn't pay for the rent. For close to six months, she has not paid for her rent. She was on and off in the hospital. She really came up, and then she started making some beads, of course. As she was doing the bead work, I also found a market for her. And as I'm talking today, this woman made her beads and whatever with the other group. Now she was having like no income in the family. At this moment, she's having close to 5,000 Kenya shillings. Now she can pay for her rent. And at the same time, the children who are like maningering and moving around the streets, at this point in time, they're back to school. And if anything, even her health, because now on the other end, the health have also come up. Because one thing we've just been learned that the medicine they take for HIV and AIDS, if you don't have food, it's so difficult to really gain your weight. In other words, now with the nutritional support and now that she has also income, she can support her family. And now she's happy. The other day, I think I visited her family. She found that she never had a bed. She has a mattress, and she's even bought some seats. And she even made a party because of that small thing. You can just imagine how small help, just talking it out and like making a small difference, and how can really make it very different for many people. Since I began the program, and since I was elected an Ashoka Fellow in 2004, my program, Koinonia, there are a number of things that I've really learned, and I would really wish to tell the good things within, especially in this helping of people and changing the community. If you are there with the idea and you stick to it, you learn even solutions on how to go about the problem that you're trying to solve in the community. Like when I was just beginning it off in 2004 when I was elected, it was more of like, where are these street children? Can I take them back home? But now I've just learned that the poverty, the diseases, and the hunger are the causes of children going to the streets and even having the orphans too on the streets. So now I'm now working with families to address, say, the disease, say the poverty, say the hunger, by trying to empower them so that at the end of it all, we don't need just to firefight, we need to do prevention.
Global X is also on Social Edge at socialedge.org.